What's up, everyone on YouTube? Your boy, the Memphis XLR8, coming at you with a deck profile for Zombie World Apocalypse. For this deck, we run 3 Unizombie, 2 Mizuki, 2 Doom King Baladrok, 3 Otherworldly Banshees, 1 Kasha, 2 Zombie Master, 1 Tristan the Knight of the Underworld, 1 Isolde the Belle of the Underworld, 2 Gozaki, 2 Marionette Might, and 2 Glow Up Bloom. 4 spells, we run 1 Book o' Life, 1 Zombie Necronize, 3 Zombie World, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Terraforming, 1 Monster Reborn, 3 Super Polymerization, 1 Burial from the Different Dimensions, and 2 Twin Twisters. For traps, we got ourselves 1 Enma's Judgment, 1 Haunted Shrine, and 3 Infinite Impermanence. For our extra deck, we run 2 Draco Necro Nether Soul Dragon, 1 Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon, a Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust Dragon, and Shiranui Shogun Saga, as well as 2 Vampire Sucker, 2 Avenged Savior, 1 Lancelot the Dark Knight of the Underworld, 1 number 22 Zombie Stein, 1 Pilgrim Reaper, and 1 Linkuriboh. The side deck, go over in a bit. So this deck is pretty much designed to do exactly what zombies do, and that is control the board, control the graveyard. Our most important member, of course, is Unizombie, a beautifully simple level 3 tuner that states you can target a monster, and then you can either discard a card and increase its level by 1, or you can dump a card from your deck to the grave and increase its level by 1. You can use each of these effects once per turn. And so this guy just lets you do all of the setup you could ever need, and that usually involves setting up our zombie world. This is our important field spell, which I'll get to as soon as I get done with Unizombie here. Unizombie here is very good for dumping things, and usually you'll be dumping things like our Necro World Banshee, as well as our Glow Bloom. Also things like Mizuki, our Doom King. This guy dumps everything we want in the grave. He's so important. First turn playmaker, first turn play starter, first turn destroy everything our opponent knew and loved. So, like I said, we got Zombie World. This is the field spell we're trying to set up, which is a beautifully simple, really old card that states that all monsters on the field and in the graveyards become zombies, and neither player contributes summon monsters except for zombies. Obviously, the second effect isn't as important. What's important is that it turns everything into zombies. So basically, what our most competent starting play is going for Unizombie, discarding any old thing for our Netherworld World Banshee, or Glow Bloom if you discard Otherworld Banshee. And so, we get this Banshee in the grave, and her effect is basically, she protects the field spell while on the field. Not as important. Is important, dumping her to the grave, because she has a quick effect to banish herself to activate Zombie World. And then, with our Unizombie still on the board, we dump Glow Bloom. This is another zombie tuner monster, which states that if you send it to the grave, you can banish it and then add a level 5 or higher zombie from deck to hand. But if you control Zombie World, you can special summon it instead. Very useful card for starting the board. As well as this target, which is Doom King Baladrok. Baladrok is the king of all zombie monsters. He's a very powerful effect that states that if he is in the grave during the standby phase, you can bring him back in defense mode. Very useful for just keeping Doom King Baladrok on the board all the time. But also, more importantly, if a zombie monster's effect is activated, you can do one of these 2 effects per turn. Well, you can do both effects during the turn. You can only use each of them once. You can either negate the effect of the monster activated, or you can banish a monster from the field or the grave. This is a beautiful combination with Zombie World, meaning that if our opponent activates a monster effect, they're counting it as a zombie effect. Therefore, you can negate it, you can banish their monsters. It's just a very powerful combo for Mr. Baladrok. So yes, very important thing to get. As soon as you get this in the graveyard, you're pretty much set, unless your opponent banishes it or something. So, very good card. Other combos include, we got Kasha. This is a one-of card. I just put it in here for funsies. Basically, if you have 2 or more zombies, you can special summon it. And then when he's summoned, you bounce every monster on the field back into the deck. And then for every zombie, it'll get 1,000 attack. So basically, again, in conjunction with Zombie World, you just summon this when you have 2 zombies, and then you bounce everything on the board, including your opponent's monsters, and then this will get huge attack numbers. It doesn't work all the time, and it doesn't really help if you shuffle back Ballardrock or anything, but, if you're going for game, or, you just really need to get rid of your opponent's board, Kash is a good one-of. Likewise, we got Zombie Master, the OG Zombie Master of all Zombie Masters. This guy is a very nice effect of discarding, or you just send a monster from your hand to the grave, and you bring back a level 4 lower zombie monster. Obviously, very much useful in this deck where we are reviving things many much times. Especially if you get Unizombie in the graveyard, your opponent destroys it or discards it or whatever happens. You just use Zombie Master, discard, say, Bloom or Banshee, bring it back. Pretty dang useful. Mizuki's pretty much self-explanatory. Banish it to special summon zombie from grave. Pretty basic zombie support card. Don't go anywhere without it. As now we got to these two. This is Tristan the Knight of the Underworld and Isolde the Belle of the Underworld. These two are a conjoined pair of monsters. Tristan, when normal summoned, can special summon a zombie with 0 defense in the graveyard. Or no, it gets it to your hand, which is still good, because it gets you a zombie back. It also gets back Zombie Master, gets back Bloom if you ever needed it, so that's important. But what's more important is to get back Isolde. And Isolde's effect is if you control Tristan, you can special summon this from your hand. And you can also do it with Isolde, is that you can target herself. And, you can target 2 zombies. Up to 2 zombies, make them different. You can take, I get my words twisted. Get me words twisted. Isolde can make 2 of your zombies level 5 to 8. Basically, you target Isolde and Tristan, and then you make them both level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, whatever. And that's used for Eric C's plays, which I'll get into. You can make Pilgrim Reaper, and you can mill out some of your cards. You can make Zombie Stein, which is a 4,500 attack beat stick with a negation. You can make Lancelot, who's a 2,000 direct attacker with a negation and a destruction. So it's a good one-of sort of thing. You can put in more if you really feel like it, but I find one of each is just fine. Gozuki is another very important card. Goes very well with Mezuki. In the main phase, you can send a zombie from deck to grave again. Banshee, Bloom, Unizombie if you really have to. If you don't start with Unizombie, but you start with Gozuki, I recommend dumping a Unizombie so you can bring it back and all that good stuff. But more importantly, this guy, when he is sent to the graveyard, you can banish the zombie from the graveyard except himself to summon a zombie from your hand. So he helps unclog your hands and do other stuff as well. So Gozuki, very important. Cheeky tech card of the day, number 1, is Marinette Might, another old card. It came out alongside Zombie World, that's how old it is. You can discard it to target a fiend or zombie your opponent controls and take it for a turn. So, if your opponent summons something really big and nasty, you just discard this, either bait out a negation or steal their monster for a turn. It works just fine. And so, just if you wanted to take them out, that's fine. But I personally run them because it's really funny to steal your opponent's monsters, link them away for other things. Next up are spells. Book of Life is pretty much Monster Reborn for zombies, although it only works if your opponent has a monster in the grave, as it requires you to summon a zombie from your graveyard and banish a monster from your opponent's graveyard. Again, this is a very powerful card. Everyone is a one-of because most of the things we want revived from the graveyard revive themselves, and we also run Monster Reborn. If you want to run another one, that's fine. It's all well and dandy. Next is Zombie Necronize, a normal spell that states if a level 5 or higher zombie is on the field, target a monster opponent controls and steal it for a turn. And during the main phase, if it's in the grave, you can shuffle a banished zombie into the deck. And if you do, set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Again, just more steal your opponent's stuff. Works good with Ballardrock, or if your opponent has high-level monsters, which are turned into zombies. Necronize is just, steal your opponent's stuff. Why wouldn't you do it? You can use them for links and stuff. So, another powerful card, and it gets you your banished stuff back. It would have been nice if you put them in the grave, though considering zombies, that would have been a bit too much. 3, Zombie World, of course, because Zombie World. Foolish Burial is a common zombie support card for just dumping a monster. Any of our usual targets will do. We got Terraforming for field spell, Monster Reborn because zombies, and now cheeky tech number 2, Super Polymerization. This is a very powerful card that allows you to fuse with monsters from both sides of the field. And so it allows us to use this Drago Necro Nether Soul Dragon, which requires 2 zombie monsters. As in, I can use my opponent's monsters to make this thing, to steal their stuff. They can't do anything about it because this cannot be stopped once it starts going. And so, super polymerization is good for interrupting your opponent's stuff, getting rid of problematic monsters, etc., etc. Barrier from the different dimension is good for a later game when you've banished all your, like, banshees, banished whatever. If your opponent banishes your stuff, it puts all your monsters back into the graveyard. 3 of them max, but 3 is still good if you get the right ones. And Twin Twister is pretty self-explanatory. We don't like traps. We want to get rid of the traps. Get them out of here. For our trap cards, we run 1 Enma's Judgment, which is a manga card. And this basically states that when your opponent special summons a monster, you destroy it. And then you can banish 5 zombies from the grave to special summon a level 7 or higher zombie from hand or deck. Obviously, the first effect is more useful than the second, as it's more of a late game sort of thing. But luckily, the second part's optional. This is just a fun tech I threw in here because it's a fun card. And I can summon Battledrock from the deck with it. So, you know, it's a cool card. I like it. Next, we got Haunted Shrine. If you have no monsters, target a zombie in your grave and special summon it. So basically, if you got no monsters, bring back Battledrock or what have you. And also, if you control the monsters, you can banish us from the grave to target a zombie in the graveyard, bring it back, but negate its effects. So, it's got a double revival sort of trap card. You know, it's just more summon things from the grave. Keep your board full of zombos. It's a nice thing. And also, of course, infinite impermanence just to stop those nasty monster effects. It's very nice for when we go second on occasion, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, next up we got our extra deck. Drago Necro's Dragon is a very powerful monster that works well with our super polymerization. Monsters cannot be destroyed in battle with this dude. That's right, he doesn't destroy monsters, he steals their souls. Therefore, when he battles a monster, its attack will become 0. You get a Drag Soul token, which has the attack of the monster that it battles, and then you just run over the monster with the token. It's a pretty powerful card, man. Especially when we combine it again with Super Poly to steal your opponent's monsters. It's a 3k beat stick. It's got 0 defense. It's not a zombie itself, but in conjunction with Zombie World and all that good stuff, so... Pardon me. Yes, Drago Necro, good card. Good little zombie dragon man that's actually a dragon and not a zombie. Next we got Red-Eyed Zombie Necro Dragon, which we don't make too often, but I threw it in here because I do have plenty of methods of summoning it. Gets 100 attack and defense for every zombie on the field and in the graveyard. Hey, hey, ho, ho. And when another zombie is destroyed by battle, you can summon a zombie from either graveyard to your field. So basically, if you start blowing up your opponent's monsters with this dude or any other dude, you get your zombies back. Pretty powerful. Clear Wing, just because it's another level 7 monster that I can summon, and because it's got good negations. It's got some level 8s with Scarlight and Stardust, because when I discard, you know, one's doing a zombie, and then make him level 4, get out a level 4 monster, make a level 8. Scarlight nukes special summon monsters and deals burn damage. Stardust negates destruction. It's all good in the hood. Plus, he gets out of the extra monster zone and uses his effect, so pretty dang sweet. And lastly, we got Shogun Saga, which is pretty powerful synchro monster for zombies. Which allows me to banish a zombie and then gain attack with its attack until the end of the turn. So basically, it's a go big, go home sort of dude. I just run him at 1 to keep the spirit of zombies, because Shiranui's very much the synchro zombie kings. And also, if he's destroyed, I can target a banished monster and, you know, return it to the graveyard. If it's got 0 defense and all that good stuff. So, it's something. Shogun Saga. Very much important, though, is Vampire Sucker, who is our Link 2. And the thing we want to use whenever we're going first. Basically, if you attribute summon a monster for tribute summon, which isn't that important, but it can be, you can tribute your opponent's zombies instead. But more importantly, we can revive one of our opponent's monsters if we ever needed to. Get me over there. I can revive one of my opponent's monsters, and then if a zombie monster is special summoned from the graveyard, either graveyard, you draw a card. So basically, first turn, you use the zombie, do the, you know, Banshee, Glow Bloom, get your field, get Battledrock, link them away for this. Next turn, Battledrock comes back, you plus a card. pretty straightforward, and that's what the card you want to go with first. And then also this here, this is a Vendread Savior. This is your go second Link monster. Same sort of combo to bring him out, and basically what this dude does is during damage calc, if he battles a monster, you can send a zombie from your deck to the grave and then weaken the opponent's monster. It's great for setting up the grave with zombies, either Mizuki or Ballardrock or what have you. It just, keeps the game going. It keeps you going, and that's what's good about it. Lancelot, like I mentioned, he attacks directly. When he inflicts damage, you can blow up a face-up monster your opponent controls. And if during either player's turn, your opponent plays a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can detach a material and negate it. Zombie Stein, again, 4500 beat stick. And during either player's turn, your opponent activates a card. You basically what's his name? Heart Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, your opponent. You detach a material, discard a card, put this guy in defense mode, target a face-up card, negate its effect. It's pretty dang powerful. Although it does stink that Zombie Stun has such low defense, but what can do? Pilgrim Reaper just mills your deck, and for every dark in the grave, he gets 200 attack and defense. We don't run too many, most of our monsters are dark, to mix it dark and earth, but the point of him is just to mill your deck out and get zombies in the grave. So if you really need to get your zombies in the grave, just throw out a Pilgrim Reaper. And lastly, Link to Rebo, because Bloom. What can I say? He's my bro. And that is our main deck. But let's look at the side deck a little bit. This here is Skull Conductor. You can discard it to summon up to 2 zombies from your hand whose attack is equal to 2,000. Which I just kind of threw in here. Can you make this work in this deck? Not really. So, forget I said that. So next up, we've got the side deck. Don't worry about that guy you saw in here earlier. He wasn't there at all. We got Call of the Mummy, which is a continuous spell that lets you special summon a zombie from your hand once per turn if you have no monsters. Basically, if you just want that extra special summon. You got Painter if you want to do more synchro action, because this guy allows you to make 2 zombies that use for synchro material level 2, which makes good for making Archfiend Zombie Skull and the like. As well as, Doom Kaiser, Revive Hades, if you want to throw in Plague Spreader instead. It's pretty nice. Also got Cyframe Lord Omega, of course, the king of all synchro zombies, because obviously this guy was the king of Shiranoots. Also, if you want to run some other zombies, I consider Ash Blossom. As much as I don't like this card is pretty dang powerful for shutting down your opponent's searching, and it's a zombie to boot. So, it'll trigger the effect of Ballardrock. So cool. Shooting Doji is another card I considered for the deck, but I decided to opt out of it. Basically, you can banish 2 zombies to draw a card, or you can target a zombie that's banished and put it on top of your deck. So, just a little extra draw power if you really needed it. I personally didn't run it, but you could, especially if you ran another burial with it. And my thoughts are just Nibiru, just in case you're not going first and your opponent's spamming you with all sorts of things, throw a rock at it. And that is my deck profile, everybody, for Zombie World Apocalypse. Sorry, I wasn't too cognate, I'm a little under the weather. But regardless of that, I hope you very much enjoyed this. If you did, smash the like button. And if you want to see this deck in action, do check out the replays linked in description. I'll see you guys again next time with other decks and other duels. Your boy Memphis signing out. Take care, everybody.